the conscious and the subconscious mind. How many of you have already aware of this term? I think most of you would be. What is conscious and what is unconscious mind? Quickly, you are aware of this? Yes. Why? Yes. Miss Babita says yes. Any quick? Yes. There are a lot of people saying yes. Pushpakji saying yes. So when we look at the conscious and the subconscious mind, we'll see a very interesting aspect that this conscious and the subconscious mind are probably responsible for one of the factors for sure. What is that factor? I want to get up in the morning and go for a morning walk, but ho nahi pata hai. Consciously, I know I should do it, but somewhere in the morning when the actual time comes, I fail to do it. I do not want to lose my temper under certain condition, but I lose my temper later on. I regret. Why did I do that? I feel so guilty about it. But at that point in time, it happens. So we'll see there is something, a conscious and the subconscious part in ourselves, which is probably responsible to an extent, to a large extent, I would rather say, for getting this happen. And when we look at the conscious subconscious stuff, we see something like this. What is this? We can see this is an iceberg. In an iceberg, small part is visible, but the large part is not visible. It's submerged. Looking at the tip of it, we say it's a small thing there. When I say I am myself, I see only the conscious part of myself. When I say conscious part, what are those conscious part? The parts which I am aware of. Let's say I know I am having food, and while having food, that's awareness. I know, say, more than two ice creams are not good for me, conscious. But when ice cream comes, I know that two is good for me, but I think maybe I end up taking three or four. So why it is happening? Because there is a larger part in us which is taking this decision. This is one metaphor. We call it a iceberg metaphor. But another interesting metaphor, which is my favorite, and we'll put it on the screen also. It's called the elephant metaphor. In the elephant metaphor, we see a very interesting picture where there is an elephant and there is a Mahavat who is sitting on it, the elephant rider. And who? It's a funny question to ask, but who would you feel is more powerful? I'm saying powerful. In this picture, who is powerful? Can you respond? M for Mahavat, E for elephant. In this picture, who is more powerful? Yeah, quickly, few response would help me. Yes, Bhavita ma'am is saying Mahavat, Shailendraji Mahavat, Alok Mahavat, Pushpak Mahavat. Yes, absolutely. Anytime the Mahavat wants the elephant to sit down, it will sit down. Anytime Mahavat or the elephant rider says, go to the water, it will go to the water. It passes through a wonderful garden where there are many, say, fruits and many vegetables which the elephant is fond of. But the elephant rider says, no, now you would not take. Would it go there? It would not go there. So certainly now the M is powerful. But is it the real case? If you actually measure their power, their force, the ability, is it the real case? It is not. But why is the M powerful now? Why is it powerful? Yes, Bhavita ma'am is saying no, actual case is not that. The actual case is the elephant is much more powerful. Any time the elephant wants to do something, it will do it. 1,000 times you can fight with the elephant, you will fail. But now, through some process, this person has become more far powerful. That's what where we are going to look at as we progress further. The conscious mind is actually not as powerful as the elephant or as the subconscious mind. Subconscious mind is too powerful, but there is a process through which it can become powerful. Controlling the power lies with the Mahavat. Yes, Alokji. controlling power lies with the Mahabhat. But how has it come? Yes, quickly. Since you have put it, Alok Srivastava ji has put it in the private chat that controlling power lies with the Mahabhat. So it's a nice thought. But how has it come to the Mahabhat? How has it come to the elephant rider? Any quick thought? Who would like to respond? What is it that has given the power to the? He knows the technique. Yes, he knows the technique. What else? What else? Self-awareness. Yes, little tricky. Self-awareness is, what is the self-awareness? Exactly, that's what we're going to study as we progress further. But one more thing. One more thing. How is the elephant now been tamed by the elephant rider? How has it been tamed? What has he done? Remember what might have been done so that the elephant is obeying. It is purely and purely training. The elephant has been trained, has been tamed. Yes, has been trained. Thank you, Alokji. Alokji has mentioned that the elephant has been trained in the process. And that training, or how we have tamed the elephant, by constantly, consciously training the elephant. But how do you train it? Now that's what we are going to look at. The first part is the training starts with self-awareness, as Bhavita ma'am had put it. Training starts with self-awareness. Why? We need to know two things at least. Self-awareness here is the conscious mind. Which is the conscious mind here? Can you see there is a right picture and the left picture? We are looking at the right picture, the elephant and the boy, or the elephant rider who is going to train. Who is the conscious mind and who is the unconscious mind? You can write ECEM, EM for elephant conscious, EC, elephant is subconscious, ES. You can write that. Boy is C, yes, boy is C. Absolutely, absolutely. Boy is the conscious mind. Elephant is not conscious. Elephant is the subconscious one. Elephant is subconscious. I have got some response. Elephant is the subconscious mind and the trainer is the conscious mind. There is a power failure. I think you not be seeing me very clearly now. So yeah, it has come back. It has come back. So elephant is the conscious mind. Sorry, elephant is the subconscious mind, and the trainer is the conscious mind. So in our case, when we look at this metaphor of elephant and the trainer, our conscious mind is the trainer. Our subconscious mind is the elephant. So how do you do that? What are the steps that we can do? I'll take you through few steps before we have some time. I'll take you through some steps. What exactly are the steps to regulate ourselves through a process called self-awareness to start with? The self-awareness is the first training step. Who trains whom? The conscious mind trains the subconscious mind. So it is the first step of training the conscious subconscious mind. That's what is the first step. It is auditing by the conscious mind of the subconscious. We'll see what is this auditing process. How can you do it? What are the things? Now there is a little technical thing. I'll explain that. The self-awareness is practiced in a relaxed state. You can see an elephant on the left corner of yours, top left corner. It's a very aggressive elephant. When it is aggressive, I'm sure none of us will want to go there and try to understand what it likes, dislikes, how to train it. It's dangerous to go over there. Similarly, when we want to train our subconscious, it is when it is relaxed, it's the best time to train. To start with, later on you may probably try other means, but to start with, certainly we have to keep that mind in a relaxed state so that we can train it appropriately. And I'll tell you what is the alpha state as you move forward. That's a little technical kind of term. Alpha is a brain wave state. I'll bring it to you, how we can get to the alpha state easily. And in the beginning, definitely it seems very difficult. very uncomfortable. The self-awareness process itself seems very uncomfortable, difficult, and challenging and boring. But as you move through, it is a wonderful process to be in. Now, how can we do it? What are the process? What are the things? Let me take you step by step. First thing, first we need to relax. As you say, you need to relax to start with, and the relaxation to a certain state of relaxation. When we study the brain activities, brain has certain waves. It is all electrical connection between different neurons, and these electrical activity, they form some sort of a wave pattern, and these waves have different frequencies. So the frequency levels are, when we are active, like when I'm speaking now, they are called in a beta frequency. It is about 14 to 30 kilohertz per minute, per second, sorry. So 14 to 30. So when we are active, our frequency is little higher. When we are in a little hyperactive, it can go beyond 30 to around 40, hyper beta level. When we are very relaxed, when you just go to bed before getting to sleep, or you are relaxingly driving your car, absolutely in a state of daydreaming or absolutely relaxed state, there the frequency comes down to the range of around 8 to 14, 8 to 14. And this is the time when the subconscious is most receptive. When the elephant is receptive, when it is calm, cool, and having belly full, and it would obey you to a large extent. Similarly, we need to bring our brain state to the alpha state in order to make the subconscious obedient to start with. And for that, there are a few practices. One of the simple practices, conscious breathing. You take few conscious breaths, maybe around 10, 12 breaths, consciously counting them. You'll find slowly your state has come down. The other state is, if you are a practitioner of meditation, it can take you immediately, instantaneously to the alpha state. If there are a few other things, like if you are listening to music, you are a very calm, wonderful, composed music, it can take you to the alpha state quickly. Not a very rock kind of a music, but soothing musics can take you to the alpha state. So when you are in alpha state, you can train your subconscious, and that's the time when you can start the self-awareness process. Few of the simple self-awareness processes are, I say, run the movie before you. In the evening, you can budget some time for, or in the before going to bed, budget a time for your self-awareness. And how can we do that? We can watch out the scenes that had happened through the day, right from the time when I got up, how I felt. I went to the toilet, I came out of the toilet, went to office, had breakfast, went to office, had interaction in a meeting, then discussion with few of my colleagues, then meeting with the boss, then some altercation, some conflict with some person, then so many things happen in a day. So playing that video once again, but very dispassionately, just watching it, how it happened, what happened. And through that, we say, look at the cue and the responses. What is the thing that made you angry? What is the thing that made you happy? What are those situations that make you feel so relaxed? What are those situations which made you feel so anxious? At this point in time, people are very anxious about their grade. What will be my grade? In a few weeks' time, maybe it will be out. So just think about different things which are happening in a day, and dispassionately watch, what is that is making me happy? What is that is making me uh, good, or I'm expressing myself in a better way, self-effective way, and what time I am feeling very limited, what time I am feeling very fulfilling. So finding those points is important, and this process apparently, or you can say, when we look at it as a very logical process, it doesn't give much of a sense. Why should I do it at all? But as it is said, the most important thing, the most important aspect of self improvement, self effectiveness is self awareness. In fact, all the extraordinary people that we know, they are highly self-aware. And that's the crux, that's the key for their exceptional expression in life or experience in life. In fact, if you've heard the name of Daniel Goleman, a person who has come up with a very strong concept called emotional intelligence. And typically, that framework also had four different aspects. It talked about self awareness, self management, other awareness. It talks about social awareness, knowing others, and managing others, or relationship management. And in that book, he finally says, but the most important characteristics, the most effective people are those who are self-aware. If self-awareness is at a higher level, rest all fall into place. They don't take much of difficulty. So yes, we'll move forward in the sake of time. Now we'll look at the self-regulation practices. I'll straight away take you to the practice. I'll not take much of time in other things. A simple practice with an example I'll give you, and we'll see how practices help us immensely to overcome some of our habits. The first, in fact, let me take you through one of my own experiences. In fact, in some part of my life, I was not very organized, but I was reading a few books and I found few concepts which promised that by following certain steps, certain rules, certain practices, you can improve, overcome some of your limitations. So I tried few. One of the major limitations that I had that point in time, I was pretty bulky that time, heavy, overweight. But more than that, I had a tendency to sleep till late, maybe till 7:38, and then rush to office. Did not have much time to start morning walk, or any meditative practice or anything, reading books or anything else. So in that book, I can mention that book, The Power of Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. I would, in fact, let me tell you before I proceed further. The co-host in this program is Mr. Pranab Kumar. I'm sorry, I missed to introduce him in the beginning itself. And I have requested Pranab Kumar, who reads a lot of books. I have requested him to share few of the books with you before we conclude the session, so that you can choose to read those books. So one of the book that I was mentioning now was Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. Well, there was a practice called creative envisioning. The name was different there. It says by this practice you can overcome some of your limitations. And the first part, how to get started, the first one to get into the alpha state, which I mentioned. That means you have to relax yourself a bit. Then you have to go through a kind of a movie. What is that movie? The movie is what you want to see, what you want to do. And for me, the first challenge I took it is, if it is possible, let me start with the hardest thing. The hardest thing for me that point in time was to get up early in the morning. And I fixed it at 4:30 in the morning. I'll get up and go for morning walk. And that was in Delhi. I was that time in Delhi, and chilled. Delhi winters are chilled. That was winter time. And I thought, let me see if it works. And creative envisioning, let me take you through the process I did. It says you have to have a script. The script is what you want to see, what you want to actually do. The script was like this. Before going to bed, I relax a bit, get to the alpha state, and then see a movie in my mind that is the morning. It is already morning. It is not actually morning. I'm just seeing that movie in my mind. It is already morning. I am in my blanket, and the alarm clock goes off. And instead of stopping that alarm clock, I am sitting down, removing the blanket, and then stopping the alarm clock, and then saying to my mind that the getting onto the floor, putting the first step on the floor is much more pleasurable compared to being on the bed inside the blanket. So that I'm telling to myself and feeling as if I'm seeing that movie, that I'm getting up from the bed, getting onto the floor, moving slowly on towards the wash machine, washing my face, then I'm going to the toilet, coming out and going for a walk. vividly looking the entire movie. In the walk, I see the trees, the chirping of the birds, I hear all those things as if a movie is being played in my mind at that point in time. And I continued it with this practice, and getting up was difficult, but not impossible. When I actually got up next morning, it was far more easier than a normal day. And why it was happening? Why was that? Because in this process, there are two processes which I was doing: calming myself and creating envisioning. The creative envisioning is the communication process of the conscious mind with the unconscious or the subconscious mind. It is the communication process of the trainer of the elephant and the elephant. Elephant, if we say in English, it would definitely not understand anything. We have to show the elephant what it is supposed to do. If you have seen an elephant training, I have seen, fortunately, I have seen how elephants are trained. Virtually, the trainer mimic what it is supposed to do, how it should sit, or it shows another elephant how it is doing with some command. Similarly, when we speak in English or we think about something, the subconscious mind actually doesn't catch a thing because it doesn't understand language. Have you seen that iceberg? The larger part, which is submerged in water, is actually not very intelligent. The language part it doesn't take. What it can take is our emotion and our visualization. So when we visualize with emotion what I'm going to do next, the outcome, or rather the habit building becomes much easier. And with this practice, in fact, I could, within about a couple of weeks time, I completely reversed my habit patterns. And not just me, anybody can do it, because it's a simple practice, it's a science. It has nothing to do with somebody will do and somebody will not do it. It's a pure simple science. If I am angry because of something, let's say I go to my house, and the moment I see my son does something, I lose my temper, and that actually doesn't help. Later on I realize I only feel guilty after it, but it doesn't actually change his behavior in a process. So can I change that behavior? That means the stimulus and my response, can I break that? That's a possibility. There are a few more, in fact, this I elaborated to the fullest, but there are a few more techniques. I will not be able to give all details, but does it help? If it helps, then you can write yes. Few of the responses would definitely encourage me to to continue this kind of sessions. Yes, yeah, a lot of yeses. Thank you, Manish. Thank you, Bhavita ji. So if it helps, naturally, I think you can go for a try on this. You try and you will see this works, because this is pure science. It's a science through which we are connecting two aspects of ours, two dimensions of ours, where consciously we choose something and then we try to train the part which doesn't want it, which is habituated or habitually doing something else. We want to decondition that and recondition it for something new. There are a few more techniques. I'll say what is habit stacking. This is the most important. Two other techniques are there, but they would take a little longer time. We'll be sticking to habit stacking. Habit stacking is something like this. If I want to change one small habit of, let's say I want to go for morning walk. Now, normally my morning is like this. I get up in the morning at about 6 p.m., 6 a.m. in the morning. Then I brush my teeth. I go to the toilet, come back, or I have a cup of tea, go to the toilet, come back. Then I read the newspaper, then watch TV, then relax for a few minutes, then few other household chores, then get to the bathroom for a bath, and then get ready and go to office. This is my sequence of events. Let's say this is what my habit is. So you can see there are sequence of habits. 1, 2, 3, 4. I get up in the morning. Then I go to wash my face. Then I go to have a cup of tea. Then I go to toilet. I come out, read a newspaper, watch TV, relax. Then household chores. Then I go to wash, bath and go. In this sequence, I now build in a new sequence, and mentally I utter it. What is that? I get up in the morning, get to the wash machine, wash my face, have a cup of tea, get to the toilet, come out, and here I stop. I say stop. And now I put on my shoes, put on my dress, and go for a morning walk for 15 minutes. I say it 10 times. So what is here? There is a cue. What is that cue? The moment I come out of the toilet, the first thing that I'll do is, rather than going to read the newspaper, I insert a new habit and mentally verbalize it. I say, now I will put on my shoes and I will, or I'll put on my dress, I put on my shoes, I go and open the door. Now I move out. I see the vivid entire outside arena, the birds, the trees and garden, and then I come back. Then again, the next step starts. I read newspaper. So insert a 15 minutes habit here. This is called inserting one habit in the stacking. But for the first few days, you utter it mentally. When you are doing it, I come out from the mentally you are saying, I have come out from the toilet. I will now change my dress. I will now put on my shoes. I'll open the door. I'll go out for a walk. So four things you say mentally and keep saying it. This habit stacking you change. This is a wonderful habit, in fact, a powerful habit. There is a book called Atomic Habit. You can choose to read that book as well, where habit stacking is elaborately mentioned. These are all scientific processes through which you can intervene within, right? So moving on. Then we come to the other two. I would they are longer processes. I would not have sufficient time now to take it on, but certainly you can read or you can connect with us later on for getting more details on both identity designing and positive suggestions. Last one, I would say this is important, very very important for our own self motivation. I normally call it a sacred schedule, a schedule which I would not deviate. I would take it for sure. I will do it for definitive, definitely. And these are called keystone habits. So insert these habits to our life can make us motivated. It's not a promotion, not our salary, nothing else. You'll see that some people are by nature motivated. If you recall what makes us motivated, there are four things that we discuss. One is somebody is very initiatives, keep taking initiative, optimism, that keeps us motivated. Similarly, we'll see what are those elements which are keeping us motivated in spite of all difficulties, challenges that can come in our life. And it has been seen these are called keystone habits. Some of the habits which can keep us motivated in challenging scenarios also. But these are to be built into our habit patterns, to our lifestyles. What are those? I'll take you through one by one. Please start or do some physical activity, exercise. It is a must. Physical exercise are terrific motivators. Why? There are many neuroscientific reasons for that. One of the chemicals which secrete when we are doing physical exercise is called endorphin, which is a powerful motivator. Even dopamine. If you do sufficient exercise, secretion of dopamine also take place. So physical exercise, one, best if you can do it in the morning. Even if you are unable to do it in the morning, do it at some point in time in the day. If that is also not possible, please ensure every hour get up and take around 200 steps and come back. Go for about 150 steps and come back. And this will keep you motivated. We do not know how the subconscious works. One of the way the subconscious actually work is with a lot of chemicals. Those chemicals, if are not sufficiently injected into the body, the subconscious feels strangled. And here we'll see physical exercise actually motivate us a lot. And it also gives us a sense of freedom. So that's also motivating. When we say there is a sacred schedule, every hour for 1 minute, I'll get up and go for 150 steps and come back. That also is a sense of freedom of the conscious. The conscious is exerting its power on the subconscious. That's the freedom. When the conscious is exerting its power on the subconscious, it is freedom. It is power that it knows at some level. So physical exercise. Second one, what we call mindfulness practice or mental exercise or self-awareness, meditation. All these practices, even you can see that also self-awareness practice, all these practices actually take you to the alpha state. And please try at least once in a day, get into the alpha state. Simplest practices, you just need to be taking some 20 odd aware breaths. Be aware of the breathing that you're doing. Do you agree? I have mentioned 2 points. Quickly, if some response comes, I'll be very happy to see that. I would know that people are really, really with me on this. Physical exercise and meditation or mindfulness exercise, they help for motivation. Do you agree on this? Quick chat box response. Are you there to respond on the chat box, please? Yes, yes. Manish, thank you. Thank you. So many. Yes. Alok ji, thank you. Avik ji, thank you. Shailendra ji, thank you so much. Both very important. Yes, Pushpak ji. I agree. Both are important. Very important. Yes, Ms. Kumar. Yes, thank you. Prashant. Yes. They are powerful practices. There are a few more. Yes, both are important, Amrit ma'am. Now let's see the next one. Again, very important. Do you agree this is also equally important? Sleeping, one of the very important aspects. Proper sleeping is important. Do you agree? Proper sleeping is absolutely important for our life. In fact, now the modern science says if we are depriving ourselves of sleep, it is 5 hours is actually not enough. I would not say that blanketly. Just let's see who has. Um, who is writing this? Yeah, let me. 5 hours. Ms. Kumar is writing 5 hours. Okay or not? Let me see. Tell you one thing. This scientific investigation says more than 7 hours. But there are some people who are good with 5 hours. If you are doing a lot of meditative practices, probably less sleep is compensated because your body is rested otherwise also. If you are into, there are few more states. There are theta states and delta states. If you are able to get to the theta state where the frequency of the brain is 1 to 4 or zero point 0.5 kilohertz to 4 kilohertz, then you are in the state of rest. If that is happening through a daytime for quite substantial time, 5 hours may be okay, but the recommendation by WHO is 7 hours. Nevertheless, you know your body better. Try to maximize sleep close to 7 hours. And the best way to sleep is what you can do is do something very simple. Please don't watch TV before at least 1 hour of going to bed. Don't expose yourself to blue light emissions. Your mobiles are also blue light emissions. That actually agitate the brain, a part called the pineal gland, which will make you not get into sleep very fast. So please avoid those things. Eating little before the sleeping time, at least 1.5 hours to 2 hours before the sleeping time. Do some mild exercise, some few steps, walking, maybe about half an hour before the sleep, and keep the sleeping room little cool and dark as possible. That will help you to sleep. Less water consumption because that will disturb your sleep in the night, maybe for urinating, and so better to have less water in the evening. And caffeine and alcohol, they actually disrupt sleep if you are taking in the evening. So avoid those things in the evening. And that means tea and coffee. Don't take late in the evening. That will disturb your sleep. So these are few quick things, and light food in the evening also helps good sleep. This is another powerful habit of reading books. I was just going through one of the webinars on the um, it was, I think, on the YouTube. Somebody was mentioning that research suggests that the top CEOs of the Fortune 500 companies, their average reading is about 5 books a month, 60 books a year. So reading actually opens up a lot of new perspectives, and it gives a lot of motivation. Not just trash reading. I'm not suggesting reading of very shallow kind of books, or not even. I would not suggest fiction. You can read good fictions, but positive books, they definitely help. Positive books, they definitely help for self motivation. Learning for expertise, whatever area you are in. You may be in finance, you may be in maintenance, you may be in say a personal, wherever you are, you may be in operation. Try to master wherever you are. One area mastery is it makes you motivated. You feel that in sale, if somebody remembers hydraulics, he would remember me, or personnel, he would remember me, or say a faculty, he would remember me. So one area, make yourself absolutely the best. That's a motivator, and strive towards it. Gap for initiative and innovation. If you remember in the self motivation list, we had mentioned this: the gap or innovation and optimism. Constantly looking for the possibility of improvement, whether it is your workplace or your home. Constantly looking. I follow a small what is the practice. When I come to office on Monday morning, I say Monday I will, that day is to find one gap which I can fulfill in the rest of the month, rest of the week. So one gap can be anything. It can be a system gap, it can be a housekeeping gap, it can be developing somebody, it can be empowering some people, or delegating some task which will improve the overall thing, or at home. Or so just one gap you have to find out. Gap means one thing which is limiting our effectiveness. One thing, find out, try to fulfill in that week. So you can find out your own rhythm, how to find one problem and find a solution for it. That's the practice. Time for deep work. Deep work is a concept where we completely shut down all other thing and put our mind to a creative act. When we find a gap in the previous step, we creatively think for a few minutes or few hours to uh, to find a solution. That's what deep work is. So budget some time every day where you will do some creative work, some work which is of higher importance, higher order, and space is given to that task. You are switching off a mobile, you are asking your colleagues not to disturb you at that point in time, you are not looking at files, completely devoting, maybe even half an hour is good enough, completely devoting for a brilliant solution for a gap. That's what deep work is all about. Journaling is writing about writing diaries, writing about yourself. It helps immensely. Writing about your positive thoughts, writing about your strengths, writing how you're planning to overcome your limitations. It can immensely help you to be more motivated and moving forward, be more personally effective. And finally, don't forget to pursue your hobby. So these are the few things I thought I'll narrate under the Keystone habits. These are researched habits. These habits make people extraordinarily effective in their life and keep them motivated